Hey you, yeah you. Before we get this video started, I just want to say a thank you for those who have been a member of my Patreon. If you want to be a member of my Patreon, leave a link in the description down below right here. And there's a list right here of all the people who have been a member or a following member of the Patreon to help keep this channel alive. I would appreciate it if you do show your support, guys. You guys are awesome, and I really thank you for your support. Also, commissions are open, so if you want to commission for me to draw something for you, go to my DeviantArt page right here as well, in the link in the description, and I'll draw something for you. But make sure you hopefully follow the rules in my Patreon on my Patreon and commission, so we can get it on the list for me to draw something for you guys. I would really appreciate it if you do, and yeah. As always, take care, and have a great day, and let's start the video, shall we?
What is up, YouTube? Hobidon here, and today we are back with another reaction video for all of you. This reaction video is a Patreon request called Storyteller's Fallout Prologue Great War. If you haven't checked out this video, I have a link in the description down below, so go check it out for yourself first before seeing my reaction to this. This is a storytelling video. I normally do reactions to animations and art animations, or do comic book reviews of the IDW Sonic series, but also Dragon Ball Z related animations that led to my not the other Dragon Ball Z persona. But this is kind of a storytelling that I'm going to be listening to or reacting to, so I'm not sure what I'm getting myself in. So this is related to Fallout, because I remember that game. So yeah, let's get on to reaction in 3, 2, 1, go.
After it was a sure thing that America could wipe out a city with just one bomb.
Yeah, they do got that power,
turned
firepower.
to Father and said, "Science has now known sin." And do you know what Father said?
Yeah.
He said, "What is sin?"
Yeah.
The discovery of the atomic bomb in the 1940s has given humanity a question the Fallout series has strived to answer. If ever there would come a day when mankind possessed the capacity to destroy himself, what would come of us?
I mean, it's
Some
possible.
predict that this is where our story
It's what's
will
scary
end.
about it.
Yet what if it
If
was
humans-
only another bloody chapter of human history?
If we humans
You've
follow this dark
experienced the Fallout
path,
series in
then
your own way.
you
But
know
want to
how
learn more about its story.
it might not end well for
Well,
us.
To get to the heart of the story, you have to go back to the beginning.
Okay then. Like I said, it's kind of weird what you think when you think about it, and depressing. I believe this was. Oh yeah.
Change comes to all nations.
Nenzel.
In the early 20th
Nevin
century, the great powers
Punzel.
of the old world
Nevin
thought that their
Punzel.
rule would never end.
Punzo, I hope I
Tsars
pronounced
of
your name
Russia
right.
met their
You
downfall
requested
at
this
the
for
hands
me.
of a bloody revolution. Western Europe
You
fought
requested
a
this
great
on
war
Patreon,
against
so
fascists
I'm
who
interested.
sought to build a Reich that would last 1,000 years.
I wasn't expecting to get a
Crumbled in
history
less than
lesson
a
here.
decade. The Japanese believed their
But I did get an
imperial
A in
rule was
history.
eternal, yet they were the first to have their pride seared away by atomic fire. The United States of
Nice.
America emerged as the world's great power by the 1950s.
Along with
Vast
Russia.
nuclear arsenals ensured that open
Russia
warfare
and
was a
America
thing of
were the
past,
biggest
and soon
superpower
after,
countries.
America entered a cold war with their enemies. It
Yeah.
was a long, uneasy peace, a perpetual status quo, as though the world were freeze-dried and sealed in a vault for a century. Those wandering the wasteland today might find it hard to believe that only 200 years ago, the richest nation in the world existed here. No
It's
death
best-
claws, no super mutants, no ghouls. Most folk back then didn't have to fight for survival or scavenge supplies. Factories produced everything a person could want by the millions. Walking into
Whoa.
a store with a stack of paper money, they could buy as much food, ammo,
Wow.
and clothing as they could carry. In fact, the
Okay.
biggest problem people faced was finding a place to keep it all.
The fat man.
Highways stretched 3,000
Okay,
miles
using
from
game
coast
clips.
to coast, with roadside diners selling fresh
Speaking of which,
burgers
what do y'all think of
made
the
from
the
something
jungle
old
futuristic
world
city in
called
the background
cow.
behind me?
riding in
What do you think about
gas-guzzling
it?
Chrysler cars. And
You can see a full
ice-cold
image of it
soda
on my
pop.
DeviantArt
The
page.
Americans enjoyed their prosperity for generations.
You just gotta search
secure
for
in
it.
their belief that
Let
their
me know.
way of life would never alter.
A futuristic
that they would
jungle-like
never be
city
forced to evolve.
is what
Change
I'm
came
living in
slowly
right
at
now.
first, and
I'm
it
just
was
in my
welcomed.
house.
People weren't satisfied just having a house where fresh water came right out of a pipe in the wall.
Of course
No,
they're not.
They wanted more.
Of
Always
course.
more. They wanted
That's-
robots to do their work for them.
That's
They
humans
needed
for you.
electronic computers to do their thinking for them. Companies like Robco filled the demand for domestic
Luckily,
robots
not all humans
so
are
that
like this.
citizens didn't have to lift a finger. A robotic Mr. Handy could walk the dog.
There
do
are
the
some
laundry,
humans who
and watch
believe
over
in
the
hard
kids,
work.
too, leaving mom and dad free to spend an evening on the town or to watch the latest show on the old Radiation King television set. Of course, all these newfangled technological wonders needed power to run. Gasoline had been plentiful for over 100 years.
That's
but
true.
The Earth had started to run dry by the middle of the 21st century. More and
Oh,
more
no.
of the power came from atomic energy, and thanks to companies like General Atomics, there were atoms to spare for decades to come. Cities lit
Interesting.
up, robots kept on humming, and computer monitors kept glowing. Some factories even started turning out atomic-powered cars with fuel cells that still have some juice in them today. So
Wow.
don't go using those rusted old Corvegas for target practice.
Oh no.
Factories churned out toys for the kids. Teddy bears, tricycles, and comic books by the ton. Dad could mix his rum with a bottle of Nuka-Cola, and Mom had
Really?
new spring fashions every year. Shelves were filled with snack cakes, canned meats, and
They look
sugar-coated
old
cereals. All of it
They
pumped
don't-
full of
they don't look
preservatives
safe to eat.
so that it would stay fresh forever, and Mom wouldn't have to take so many trips to the grocery store. When it came to consumption, the Americans
Are
were
they
the
safe
best.
to eat? Is that's what I
Yet,
want to know.
Even with the increased use of atomics, there wasn't enough energy for the billions of people across the world. Oil
Yeah.
was more precious than ever, and the petroleum-rich countries of the Middle East sold
The
their
world is a
dwindling
big, big
supplies
place.
at ever higher prices. Eventually, the wells ran dry in most of the world. The uranium mines were scraped clean, but
Now
no
he's
one
gonna see
wanted
the
to
rest.
give up their shiny new technology. Change had come, and with it, war. The Middle East
Nobody
had
likes
used their
war.
limited uranium
Nobody
stock
likes
to
a
power
war.
reactors for a few decades, but instead they squandered it on weapons to settle old scores. The European Commonwealth had been proud of how they had joined together
Wow.
in one glorious unified state, but it didn't take long before they turned on each other.
It's a
scrambling
fascinating
for the
history
last
lesson.
drops of oil within their borders. Alaska, with its abundance of natural
I bet you weren't
resources,
expecting a
remained the
history
source of
lesson in
America's
my channel,
power,
huh?
And the only place on Earth where oil
But
still
if you're a
flowed.
gamer, you know about
Far-off
Fallout.
territory
Here you
was a
go.
tempting target for a desperate China.
Hey,
Americans
China!
foresaw invasion and fortified Alaska, but nothing could deter China from capturing Anchorage. With the two remaining superpowers at war,
I'm
Canada
sorry,
was trapped in
China,
the
you've
middle
been
and soon annexed
treated as
by
a
their
target
neighbors
from
to the
our
south.
former president.
Allegedly, this was so that the
Who
entire
is- who
continent
rhymes with
was one
rump.
continuous nation
Yeah, he's been
allied
targeting
against the
y'all,
Chinese invaders.
and a lot of
The
Trump
Canadians
supporters
viewed
been
it as a ruthless bid
attacking
for
you.
America to retain control
I'm
of
so
the
sorry you
world's
gotta go
remaining
through
oil
that.
supply. The resource
I've been
wars
it's kind of
come to
messed up
American
what the
soil.
world is going up right now.
In a resource war, the winner will always be the side that fights most efficiently. China used the greatest minds of the East to create stealth technology that allowed their recon teams to infiltrate and assassinate while remaining
That's helpful.
completely undetected, taking down
That's a cool
high-value
looking
targets with a
suit, I
single
must
shot.
say.
America had its own brand of eccentric genius. With the power of the atom at hand, unbridled American engineers created scientific marvels the rest of the world couldn't have
Okay, we're
imagined.
making
The
Sentinels.
glut of consumer electronics that had flooded American stores.
I didn't know we were in the
only
X-Men.
the beginning of the wonders created by the likes of Robco and Poseidon Energy, whose true focus was the development of new weapons that could replace the inefficient tools of warfare used in past decades. Combat robots, energy weapons, and cybernetics entered the war as America sought to retake Anchorage. Battles
Yeah.
were fought by daring men who fire nuclear warheads from shoulder-mounted crossbows.
Unless you're Tony Stark, you
Cyberdogs
can make
with the
armored
brain
suits.
Of a loyal hound encased in an unyielding titanium body. Even
Oh.
robot butlers hovered across battlefields, armed with plasma guns and flamethrowers.
Wow.
There was even a plan to engineer a new breed of mutant super soldiers, but it was the creation
Oh,
of
the
power
Super
armor
Soldier
that
program.
ensured
Let me tell you
American
right now,
victory.
it does not end
Power
well.
armor
And
combined
we all
the
know
mobility
that.
of an
Unless
infantry
you
soldier
that
with
doctor
the
from
resilience
Captain
of a
America
tank
who made
and the
Captain America,
firepower of an entire
get him.
squad, fueled by
Get that
microfusion
guy
cells,
to do the
these
Super
elite
Soldier
troops
serum.
could inflict crippling strikes
Oh,
on
wait, I
Chinese
forgot.
military assets,
He was killed by a
using
Nazi
fraction of the resources of
to
conventional
stop
military
other super
units.
soldiers.
Early models of power armor were devastating enough, but after a decade of refinement, The T-51B power armor represented the height of pre-war combat technology.
I remember
With the aid
this
of these
armor.
perfected armored suits, America quickly liberated their territory from the Chinese. In the modern day, the T-51B has become a symbol of the Brotherhood of Steel, but centuries ago, it was the final majestic icon of American exceptionalism.
Okay, I'm gonna an ad. It was gonna come up here for a minute. And
By autumn of 2017,
yeah, it's gone. It's gone.
the overt
I'm not gonna
conflicts in the
edit it,
Pacific
that.
were finished, and most Americans were so tired after a decade of war that they
I don't know why it
genuinely
does that.
believed peace
I
had
add
arrived.
ad blocker.
The paranoid,
But they're trying to
perhaps
but
just
YouTube is trying to
perceptive,
force
began
ads on you.
stocking their bomb shelters, knowing that China would not simply slink away across the ocean in defeat. A final confrontation was coming. In
Okay.
an effort to preserve at least part of humanity from the inevitable end that approached, a secret enclave of America's elite set about ensuring survival at all costs.
A
Victory,
secret organization.
Rebuilding, no longer viable options. Their full intent
Why not,
is
though?
lost to history, but documented plans include taking refuge within a mountain or an oil rig,
Oh.
and even launching a ship into space to find a new planet to colonize. The
Yikes.
modern enclave
That's
claimed
not an
to
option,
be the
then.
descendants of that last group of America's elite. That might be true, although many residents of the wasteland would argue that it takes more than a flag and a squadron of vertibirds to be a government of the people.
Okay.
Regardless of whether or not the enclave's claims are true, the majority of America's population
Well, due
did
to the
not have
time
access
set-
to offshore
the timeline
bases
that is set
or
in this
secret mountaintop
Fallout,
fortresses.
It's I
Fortunately,
see what you
for
mean.
100,000 of them, the Vault Tech Corporation provided access to radiation-proof shelters that could each keep about 1,000 people safe while waiting for conditions on the surface to calm down. Nowhere near enough to save everyone, but it offered hope and kept the public from panicking.
Okay.
On October 23, 2077,
Ah,
alarms
they-
rang across the United States.
Classic duck and
signaling an
cover.
Attack. There had been plenty of
Has that
false
ever
alarms
worked?
and training drills over the years, and it isn't hard to imagine war-weary citizens shrugging their shoulders and going on with their day, unaware that this was really.
I mean, I watched
the apocalypse they
Iron
feared.
Giant, the
Perhaps
whole
people
duck and
laughed
cover
when they saw their
song.
neighbors racing to Vault Tech facilities.
Has that ever worked?
The lucky and privileged few who had
Maybe
been
it
assigned
has,
a place
unless you're in
within
a
one of the vaults might have
actual
felt silly
bomb
when
shelter.
Massive doors rolled shut. But they were among the tiny fraction of humanity that could still feel anything at all when the bombs landed. Historians still don't know much about what happened outside the vaults that day. People weren't concerned with writing in their journals. Hard as it is to believe, there are still ways to hear first-hand accounts of the pre-war times. The sources aren't exactly reliable, though. A few rotten old ghouls claim to have been alive back then. Most of them were just telling tales, hoping to get someone to talk with them for a while. There were a few scientists who managed to preserve their brains in jars before the war, too. Some of those old brains are
Okay,
still
that's
alive
crazy.
today and might be able to discuss the old days, assuming that any of them are still sane after being a disembodied brain for 2 centuries. The right medical
If they're
equipment has
sane.
kept at least one person alive
If
since before the
keyword
war.
if they're
Trouble
sane.
is, a man with that kind of will to live isn't going to take chances by chatting with strangers. Knowing
True.
how people lived
That is
before
true.
the war can help the wasteland tremendously.
It can do a lot to your mind.
Scavengers and research teams dig up all sorts of things that can't be identified.
Get
Any
what is-
rusty old
get whatever's
box could
useful.
hold an ancient secret to providing clean water, or fresh food, or limitless electricity to the wasteland. At the very least, the modern world could learn from the mistakes of the past. The Americans never truly believed that their way of life could come to such an abrupt end. But change comes to all nations.
But apparently
All
sometimes
people
most Americans
always
don't like
survive.
being told what
The
to
only
do,
constant
so
man's struggle
yeah.
for survival is war. Because war,
oh come on,
war never changes.
go away. Yes, that's it. Is there more to it? Well, that was it. That was the Storyteller's Fallout Prologue-Great War. That was an interesting history lesson, I must say. It was pretty well edited, pretty well animated in most parts. Still images. I'm guessing source filmmakers using still images, but not having them move around that often. And some of them are cutscenes from the video games that does move around. But it was this is well said, well animated, well sculptured, adding realism into the video game series. Which is, hey, it can be creative. It's very creative depending on the right writers, on the writers who does it right. and actually add some interesting lore to it. I really like story building, and in series, I really love that. Anywho, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little reaction video. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. What were your thoughts on this? Did you enjoy it? Let me know in the comments down below. And Nevin Punzel, you're welcome, buddy. I reacted to this for you. And thank you for this Patreon request. As always, take care, have a great day, be safe, and most importantly, stay frosty and stay healthy out there. Catch you all later.
What? Shut up! Quickly! Be racist!
You this.
You hear that, stupid? My fiancé hates your whole stinking race! Bet you didn't plan for that! Follow me.